again, Bill Pfeiffer with you. So good to be with you. Today I'm going to tell you a beautiful story, one that we've used before, but it was early in our podcast and our technology wasn't too good and it didn't come through very nicely, so we're going to try to do that again. But as you well know, nothing is ever repeated. Over this weekend, I did a little bit of reflecting and asking myself some questions, and I'd just like to share a little of that before I share this absolutely spectacular story. And the question I asked myself is, why is it in America when you become rich or famous, you automatically become an expert in philosophy, theology, social ills, social planning, government, the human condition, holiness, sainthood, and believe that in your newfound wisdom, you have the right to pontificate on every subject, and when no one listens, the right to bully people into submission? You know, these kind of people do have a great gift, and it's in making, technology and selling it in sports or movies or television or PhDs or the stock market or some elected office. And they believe with it, however, comes an infinite, divine, infused knowledge of all things, and the holy and sanctified compulsion to share it with the whole human family. And that just isn't the case, And so we beg these people to not do this, but to spend after they get rich or famous, to spend 5 or 10 years praying. Really get to know yourself and your own spirit and who you really are and what the human condition is really life, and to do that with some kind of solid silence and solitude, and then come out and they might have something significant to say that all of us will listen to. I just heard recently that CNN, some highly placed director, finally admitted that they've spent the last 4 years sharing pure propaganda. Propaganda. It's another word for lying, like all of the other stuff that's been happening with political correctness and so on over the last many decades, and that's a terrible thing. And they did that with no compulsion. It's what they did was, they share with a morally right, excited social awareness conscience that they believe they have in the abstract. And they share that because they feel they have to. But then in the concrete, it comes out in a way which is evil, wrong, sinful. It hurts everybody. At CNN, what has happened is they've ruined the credibility of all of the media in the country. And now 52% of the people don't believe the media at all. 70-some% believe they're lying it from time to time. So it just doesn't make sense. Without no wisdom, the people perish, says the author in Proverbs. Or Henry David Thoreau once said, we must not become comfortable with evil that has grown respectable with age. And that's really pretty much, where we're at. And all of this is a serious religious issue. As Pope Francis has said, all of the people involved in this whole thing, people listening, they have souls, they have spirits. So it's the object, it's the job of those who are involved with people at a spiritual level to do and to say something serious in order to correct this incredible situation that we face in our culture. As a result, people are silenced, people are tense, you're anxious, you're afraid to think the wrong thoughts even at times, and you don't want to have that be a kind of a lifestyle that becomes impregnated into your very being. A group of Indians were crossing the desert, and in the process of their travels, they came upon a group of eagle eggs laying on the desert floor. And they picked up those eagle eggs and they placed them into a nest of prairie chickens. The prairie chickens sat on them until they hatched. And these new changeling eagles did all of the things that prairie chickens do. They walked like prairie chickens, they cackled like prairie chickens, they flew for a few feet and came to the ground and ate grubs and so on, just like prairie chickens. And they spent their whole life thinking they were prairie chickens. And then late in the life of one of these changeling eagles, he looked up into the sky and he saw this magnificent bird carried aloft almost effortlessly on the drafts of the wind. And the head of the prairie chickens ran over real quickly and said, no, don't even give that a second thought. You see, that's an eagle, and you could never be like that. And that changeling eagle died thinking he was a prairie chicken. There are no prairie chickens allowed on this particular podcast. And that's not to schmooze you again. We are all eagles. We are called to fly. The Lord says that in the Old Testament. You fly like eagles. We're to take off like eagles. And to change the metaphor in a way, we're called to climb up the mountain, there to grow wings and to take off into the air. And the flight isn't done until you bring other people back into your flight. So it's a whole thing, and it's absolutely marvelous. So no prairie chickens, eagles. Remember, happiness tomorrow really does depend on doing the truth today. And that's also the truth for people who are famous, people who are rich. They need to know that their happiness tomorrow really does depend on doing the truth today, just like, the rest of us. So good to be with you, and, relax your heart. Don't let things get to you in a way. Don't listen as carefully as you've been listening if you're getting stressed and anxious about things. You want to be at peace. Peace is a really important thing to share with others in your life. To be able to pray, you got to have peace in your life. So good to be with you again. Have a good day. God bless. Keep me in your prayers. You're in mine.